Warning: this content may include material that could be distressing for some. Discretion is advised. Story number 1. In a tumultuous dusk of a World War II battleground, young Corporal Thomas J. Evans became entangled in a tempest of dust, debris, and crossfire, a storm brewed in the crucible of conflict. The concerto of gunfire and explosions infused the atmosphere with chaos, each mighty blast punctuating the relentless rhythm of the battlefield. The acrid scent of gunpowder hung thick. Violence saturated the very essence of reality. Thomas fought against the disorienting whirl of shadows that enveloped him. In a crescendo of madness that drowned the senses, an enemy bomb erupted nearby. The earth quivered beneath his boots, and a torrent of raw power engulfed him. The shockwave seized him, hurling him into a dark void. After what he perceived as a second or two, Thomas found himself lying on his back on the pavement, on unfamiliar soil. The once deafening symphony of battle had given way to an eerie calm. Puzzled, he surveyed his surroundings. A graveyard, a vast expanse stretching into an eternity of silence. Rows of white crosses stood sentinel, each marking a story untold. The turbulent theater of operations had transformed into a haunting sanctuary of the fallen soldiers. In front of him stood a white memorial wall bearing the inscription: constructed on November 2nd, 2145. In memoriam. The date, engraved in stoic permanence, sent shivers down his spine. "I'm in the future," he muttered to himself, his voice laced with incredulity. Running his fingers over the cold surface of the wall, Thomas felt the weight of lost time bear down upon him. Along with his name, those of his comrades in arms, allies, and even former enemies, etched into the unforgiving stone, revealed a tale of a battle that needn't have unfolded. A nearby monument featured a statue portraying a dying soldier embraced by an angel. Words carved into the base of the monument struck him like a thunderbolt. "All the deaths have been in vain. That battle should never have been fought." The war had just ended, a few hours earlier. Yet, oblivious to this truth, the soldiers were left to face their tragic demise, on that ill-fated day. Desperation fueled Thomas's flight through the rows of tombstones and the ominous gloaming. The air clung to him, thick with the ghosts of the past. His boots stumbled over uneven terrain and, in a moment of crushing hopelessness, he fell, his hands grasping at the damp earth. The shadows cast by the lampposts around him began to bend and contort, as if manipulated by an unseen force. A strange darkness swallowed him, and he felt like plummeting through an infinite vacuum. As he touched ground again, the ear-piercing gunfire and explosions suddenly resurfaced. Shouts, gunshots, the rumble of tanks, the rat-a-tat of machine guns and distant booms painted the air with the grim palette of war. The transition from one hell back to another was abrupt, the shift in time seamless. The torment wasn't over yet. Badly wounded, covered with blood and dirt, with his rifle steadying him, Thomas rose from the mud under a pouring rain. His voice, strained and desperate, struggled to cut through the turmoil. "The war is over. Stop. Cease fire. Please, stop. The war is over. I've glimpsed the future. We all perish today, if we persist. All of this. For nothing." His words, like fragile autumn leaves, were swept away by the roaring winds of the battle, and the soldiers, shackled by the fury of conflict, paid no heed to his agonized cries. The horror of time's cruel joke reverberated throughout the combat zone, amid the impending doom. "I've got to stop this massacre," he said. "God, please, help me put an end to it." He climbed on top of a wrecked tank, and from that improvised pulpit, he screamed his lungs out. "It's over. The war is over. Stop. Please, please, A bullet tore through the air, finding its mark in Thomas's chest. Staggering backward, he fell from the tank and hit the muddy ground. Through the pain and haze, tears blurred his vision as he witnessed the gut-wrenching spectacle around him, a macabre encore of a battle that should never have been waged. My sacrifice, all sacrifices, for nothing, he rasped with his last breath. The few remaining war fires cast their flickering light on the now quiet battlefield, where the pitter-patter of falling raindrops, like melancholic notes in a requiem, had replaced the thunderous gunshots. Story number 2. The year was 1981, and Syracuse, New York, greeted the day with a crisp cold embrace under the brilliance of a clear sunlit sky. In the makeshift ham shack in their basement, amateur radio enthusiasts Mark and Sarah tinkered with their equipment on that autumn afternoon, the hum of transceivers and the crackle of static surrounding them as they searched for interesting wavelengths. Amidst the routine, an unexpected disturbance cut through the air. A distorted voice, laden with panic, emerged from the speakers. The man on the other end described a looming catastrophe, a gray dust storm, alive and devouring all in its path, moving fast from the south to the north. The urgency in the voice gripped Mark and Sarah. Skeptical yet unnerved, the duo followed the man's instructions. They sealed the edges of windows and doors with adhesive tape, uncertain if this was a hoax or a chilling reality. Standing side by side, they peered out from their basement window as the cold sunshine cast an eerie glow. After a few interminable minutes, far on the horizon, it suddenly appeared. Dark and menacing, a colossal gray cloud front, as tall as the sky, raced towards them, swallowing everything it encountered. In the radio shack, the hum of transceivers and the static of the airwaves were replaced by the muffled howl of the approaching storm. Mark and Sarah braced themselves as they stood witness to the end of everything. Deep beneath the surface, in a classified military facility, a high-ranked official had been monitoring the unfolding apocalypse on big screens. He picked up a red telephone handset and spoke into it, his voice steady and resolute. Code Echo. Initiate full timeline reset. And that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Your being here is truly appreciated. Take care, stick around for more strange stories, and see you real soon in another timeline.